More now on that breaking campaign news. As we reported, the New York Times has published an article featuring two women that allege Donald Trump inappropriately touched them. Trump himself has denied the allegations in the article, and his campaign just responded with a statement that reads in part, quote, "This entire article is fiction, and for the New York Times to launch a completely false, coordinated character assassination against Mr. Trump on a topic like this is, quote, dangerous." We should also point out one of these allegations is from 30 years ago. Now, with TMZ reporting today that NBC planned to hold the video until last Friday, the one we all saw last week, so they could influence the debate, it is only fair to ask if the New York Times has been holding this story. Our nightly political panel is back. Guy Benson, political editor at townhall.com, and Nina Easton of Fortune magazine. Guy, I understand that since you guys were last here in this room with me, that a couple of further allegations have surfaced?
Right, so just coming across Twitter, but it's the Palm Beach Post and KING in Seattle, right, both reporting separate women now coming forward and saying that Trump groped them. One, I guess, more recently, one saying it was 13 years ago. The woman in Palm Beach, or at least in Florida, saying this happened down in Florida and that she told friends and family at the time, and then she decided to come forward when she saw Donald Trump at the debate deny that he had ever followed through on what he described in that tape with Billy Bush. And again, none of these women, I think it's important to point out, went to the authorities at the time. The Trump people will point to that, and I think that they are right to do so. But the political problem, at the very least, that Donald Trump has is he is on tape saying this is how he treats women. This is what he does to women. And here are now 4 women today saying, indeed, that is what he did to me.
Well, compounding this, and something we haven't talked about, is the whole issue which he bragged to Howard Stern about his ability as the owner of the Miss USA pageant to wander into dressing rooms where pageants were getting dressed half naked. And we
some cases, some women have said fully naked.
And fully naked. And there are reports that came out today and yesterday that this also was the Miss Teen USA pageant, where you have girls as young as 15, and he walked in, and there are some pageant candidates on the record talking about that. So the whole swirl of this is not good for Donald Trump, but he is going to keep pushing back on it.
Well, no doubt about that, and I suspect we'll hear more from the campaign over the next 24 hours about that. Something that probably needs to be discussed here is the effect of things like this on a campaign are twofold. It is the seriousness with which the people take the allegations, but it is also the effect that allegations like this have on a campaign's ability to get out whatever other message it's trying to communicate. So when you're in the midst of one of these firestorms, and this is bound to generate another one or further the one that's already going on, you want to talk about your education plan or your tax plan versus her tax plan or Hillary Clinton's weaknesses on this and that. That stuff is drowned out. This is going to be what makes the news, and his response to it will make the news, right?
And it also drowns out the WikiLeaks controversy over Hillary Clinton. More people are going to understand this, relate to this, than they are about the dodging and calculating that goes on inside her campaign, or for that matter, what one of her aides might have said about Catholics. I mean, it trumps all of the stuff that might have hurt.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. No pun intended.
And isn't it a coincidence that Donald Trump's ability to get billions of dollars of uninterrupted, basically unchallenged airtime just expired as soon as the Republican primary ended? Look at just the last day. It's 4 women, 3 different news outlets. I would be astonished if the Democrats were not behind some of this. This feels coordinated. The media had some of this stuff. NBC apparently sat on the tape. Look, I'm not going to defend what Donald Trump said in that tape at all. It cannot be defended. But if NBC and TMZ reported this, if NBC and their executives had this information weeks or even months ago, and they held on to it to drop it when it had maximum electoral impact, that is not journalism.
That story also said that they were going to expunge Billy Bush's piece of it out of the tape before they put it out. And that got short, and then they decided to hold it because they didn't. They were worried about the storm coverage and preoccupied by that, and then it leaked out, and it had Billy Bush's remarks in it, and that was the end of him, as it turned out.
Yeah, I think sitting on it had much more to do with the internal politics of NBC and how to deal with the Billy Bush component of it and sitting on it. I don't think they were like waiting to drop the bomb right before a debate.
The old saying in this business, when in doubt, put it out.
Right. That's right, but I'm saying the motivation I don't think was to drop it in a way that would hurt Trump. I think the motivation was internal politics on how do we deal with the Billy Bush.
Hardly could have come at a worse time, though, right?
Oh, no kidding.
Guy and Nina, thank you both.